All right, I'm sorry that last video ended so abruptly. I'm not sure what happened, but we're going to continue. We're not going to skip down. We're going to continue with the next example on the front of our handout. All right, as we read, think about what you could say is the subject, just in a word or a short phrase. Giddy up, cowboys and girls. In the Southwest during the early half of the 1800s, cows were only worth $2 or $3 apiece. They roamed wild, grazed off the open range, that means they ate the grass, right? And were abundant. There were a lot of them. Midway through the century, though, railroads were built and the nation was connected. People could suddenly ship cows in freight trains to the Northeast, where the Yankees had a growing taste for beef. Out of the blue, the same cows that were once worth a couple of bucks were now worth between $20 and $40 each. Wow. If you could get them to the train station, that is, right? It became pretty lucrative to wrangle up a drove of cattle and herd them to the nearest train town, but it was at least as dangerous as it was profitable. Cowboys were threatened at every turn. They faced cattle rustlers, that means people stealing their cows, stampedes and extreme weather, but kept pushing those steers to the train station. By the turn of the century, barbed wire killed the open range, and some may say the cowboy too. But it was the train that birthed them, that gave birth to them, that started them. Started cowboys. All right, so we could say, just in a word or a short phrase, what the subject of this is. It's about cowboys. Cowboys. Now, what does the writer want us to know or understand in this paragraph about cowboys? Imagine all the different paragraphs that could be about cowboys. But in this paragraph, what does the writer want us to know or understand about cowboys? All right, so it's really about how the job of cowboys really got going, right? Because the cows were only worth a couple of bucks until the train started. And when the train started, cowboys were necessary to drive the cattle from wherever they were to the train station. So that's what the author wants us to know. The effect of the development of trains on this job of cowboys, how it made the job of cowboys really take off. So if we were saying a summary, if we were trying to think of a summary for this paragraph, we could say something like trains, the establishment of trains in the American West was really what started the job of cowboys, because cowboys were needed to drive the cattle from wherever they were grazing to where the trains were. Okay? So think about how short that is compared to this whole paragraph. Okay, there's another one you can practice with there, but what I want you to do now is turn the page over and let's talk a little bit about paraphrasing. Now, paraphrasing is stating in our own words, in the simplest words possible, what a passage says or what a sentence says. We have to demonstrate, if we're paraphrasing, we have to demonstrate that we understand what the sentence or the passage says. And we're doing that by putting it in our simplest, clearest words. We're not leaving any terms or ideas in there that are unexplained or that are unclear. So take a look at just the very first sentence here. Right now, smartphones are selling like mad in the U.S. market, where sales jumped 84% between 2007 and 2008, according to NPD, the market research firm. All right, now, I think the easiest thing to do when we're trying to paraphrase is go through this and look at any terms or words that we think we might have to show that we understand and try to say what they mean. So what does it mean, first of all, smartphones are selling like mad? What does that mean? We could restate that in simpler words by saying smartphones are selling a lot. A lot of people are buying smartphones, right? And then so we've said smartphones are selling like mad. We've put it in different, simpler words. Lots of people are buying smartphones. So I would write that next to smartphones are selling like mad. I would write lots of people are selling smartphones. Lots of people are buying smartphones in the US market. What's a market? Isn't a market where we go buy food, right? But a market, an economic market, is all of the people who are buying something. So, smartphones, a lot of people are buying smartphones among the people in the US that are buying something, in the US economic market, where people are buying something. And in that market, sales jumped 84%. What did the sales do? They jumped, they went up. They went up, right? We're going to make it simpler. Between 2007 and 2008, according to NPD, that's just the name of something, the market research firm. What does a market research firm do? So, the market is where people are buying or selling stuff, and research is when people study something, and a firm is a company or a business. So we could say, according to NPD, the company that studies what's bought and sold. A company that studies what's bought and sold. So we can cobble together the simpler ways that we found to say this and say, right now, a lot of people are buying smartphones in the US, right? Where sales went up 84% between 2007 and 2008, according to NPD, a company that studies sales. Okay? Hush, 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 hush. All right? Now, that's a little bit longer than the original sentence, but that gives you an idea of what a paraphrase is. So on the GED or the HiSET, remember, paraphrasing is not particularly a skill that we focus on the GED or the HiSET. But it's important that we understand what the word means and realize that it does not mean the same thing as summarizing. Summarizing, we're stating as briefly and clearly as we can just the main idea or main ideas of a passage. Paraphrasing, we're restating in our own words, in the simplest, clearest words we can think of, what the paragraph or passage or sentence says. Okay? All right, thanks.